What's up in War Eagle War Rapport family? Your guy Ike Jones here. The morning drop. It is Monday. Oh, March 27th, man. We are moving on along just a few short days away from A Day, and we're talking a little bit about the defensive backfield. Gonna get you guys hip to everything that's going on right now during spring. Your guy Ike Jones right here at the warning drop. Let's drop it on him.
You are now listening to the War Rapport. Drop.
Yes, indeed. Morning drop time. Ike Jones in here, running solo for a little bit. I think my guy B Will is going to jump on at some point in time this morning. At any rate, we are here talking about Auburn football during the spring. It is Monday, March 27th. Hopefully, everybody's feeling really good this morning. Defensive backfield seems like it's going to be a strength for the Tigers this season. I almost said the Tide because I was just looking at an article from a guy talking about basketball for Bama and wanting the playoff system. Tiger's going to have a strength this season in defensive backfield, led again by DJ James. DJ James was a transfer in from Oregon last season and was really holding it down on the corner. One of the better defensive backs in the entire conference last season. I expect a repeat performance from him this year. This is going to be the year where he goes out there and tries to make the money to jump into the first round. So hopefully DJ James has a stellar season to back up the previous season that he had. But the question for a lot of people is what's going to happen on the opposite side of the field from DJ James. I still think that Nehemiah Pritchett has a really good opportunity to go out here and lock down the other corner. But you are hearing a lot of buzz from just the ability as just a ball player from the freshman Kayan Lee out there on the opposite side. So early returns on a flip from Ohio State for Coach Hugh Freeze. Props to Zach Etheridge for getting out there and really making that happen, though. But for Coach Hugh Freeze and staff to have that flip over from Ohio State to already be paying good dividends in the spring, because you want competition at every position. We talk about that a lot here on the show. Regardless of what the position is, you want to have competition so that you know you're putting the best of the best out there. So hopefully we'll continue to have that. And then you've got, new defensive backfield coach Wesley McGriff in here doing his thing to get those guys ready to play. McGriff has a big time resume of being able to put good defensive backfields out there. So hopefully we'll be in a place this coming up fall where we can have some lockdown corners out there. And, as we've heard, the pass rush situation isn't necessarily top tier yet. We've got some good players out there, but I don't think that anybody has blown anyone away with their ability to get around the edge and really apply pressure to the quarterback. So if you're not going to have an elite pass rush, then you have to have corners that can go out there and lock down a little bit more to give that pass rush some more time. So, coverage sacks are really what we're going to be hoping for if we can't figure out a way to scheme some better pass rush up front. So hopefully we'll get to the place where we're able to do that. I see you guys jumping in. As always, you're here with the morning drop. You got Ike Jones. I just want to make sure that you guys know that you need to share the video, man. Get some more people involved in the conversation right now. Go ahead and share the video right now on social media. Don't think about it. Just go ahead and click the share button and make sure that other people know what's going on right now this morning. And while you're in the mode of clicking on stuff, like the video right now. I know it's just me in here talking, but that's what makes it amazing, because you get to hear me talk more, because that's really why y'all come here. You don't come here for Mike. You don't come here for B Will. You don't come here for Caesar. You come here for your boy Ike. All right. So go ahead and like the video, because you get a lot more of me when I'm here by myself. Actually, if you don't like me, you can thumbs down the video. That's fine. But that will hurt my ego a little bit. And I don't really have a bunch of ego left for you guys to be damaging out there. So just be kind out there. Please be kind. Rewind. If you're not old enough to know where that came from, then we probably can't be friends. No, it's all right. But anyway, you guys continue to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure that you know when we're going to be going live, notification bells, all that kind of thing, so you can stay up to date with everything we got going on. But yeah, that's it, man. Let's get straight back into this conversation. I see you guys jumping in here. I appreciate it a lot. All right. So outside of the two that we've talked about, the two positions, I should say, DJ James, he's got one of those spots secured. The other side, I do think there's going to be an intense competition between the two gentlemen that I've already mentioned. And there's a lot of other talented guys on this defensive backfield. Let me go ahead and pull up my roster here so I can make sure that I don't miss any names as we're going through talking about this stuff. I think it's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to having the conversation at some point in time with how the defensive backfield is being coached by two different coaches right now, right? Like you've got safety coach and you've got a DB coach. So outside and the back side are going to be coached by two different coaches. And I just wonder how that symmetry is going on. Um, but yeah, so we've got KN Lee, DJ James, Keontae Scott. You guys know I am a big Keontae Scott guy. He is going to be instrumental to this defense, nickel, slot, um, whatever you want to call it. He's probably going to be playing a little bit of that star position that's going to be in this defense where there's that linebacker slash DB hybrid. I can see Donovan Kaufman also playing in that position, but I do think that Keontae Scott is going to be a focal point of this defense as far as his ability to be hybrid, right? Like he plays well down in the box. He's a pretty sure tackler. He had some instances where he was taking some bad angles as I look back at the tape last year, but I think his understanding of this new defense coming in. You got to remember with Keontae Scott, he was a guy that didn't get here until the fall, but still was able to. Well, he came during the summer, late summer, even like when they were starting fall camp. He was just getting down to the plains, but he was still able to get out there and get starter minutes, right? So Keontae Scott, a guy who will have a full spring under his belt coming up here, a full summer program, and then a full fall camp. I do expect to see him take a leap this season, even though I thought he played well last season. And that's coming from a guy, again, who's a big fan of what I've seen from him already. But I do expect big things from my guy, Keontae Scott, coming up here. We've already talked about Nehemiah Pritchett as potentially going to be the guy on the outside. Listen, I know a lot of Auburn fans aren't big Nehemiah Pritchett fans because they have these memories of him getting blown by in the Georgia game 2 years ago, and defense is picking on him. Listen, if you got DJ James on one side, they can't go but to one other place, so they're going to have to pick on the other guy, right? So it's not because Nehemiah Pritchett's not good. It's just that he's playing opposite of a really good corner. Do you think before I say this, I am not saying that DJ James is Deion Sanders. So full stop right there. What I'm saying is, do you think that the corner opposite of Deion Sanders wasn't getting picked on more than Deion Sanders was? Absolutely it was. Doesn't mean that guy wasn't a good corner, just not Deion, right? So Nehemiah Pritchett, good corner, just not quite DJ James level of lockdown. But I still think that listen, he was always not always in position. 9 times out of 10 in position where he needed to be. And has a lot of speed. He has a lot of ability to recover if he does get beat. So I do like what Nehemiah Pritchett brings to this defense. A lot of seniority, a lot of leadership that he's going to provide out there. Looking forward to seeing what he can do this season. Take a pause right here and let my guy jump in here. B. Will has arrived. So for those of you who were hoping to see a full stream of just Ike talking, sorry to disappoint you. B. Will jumping in here. What's up, man? How you feeling this morning?
Man, what's up, man? This weather is it's crazy right now. I hope my power stay on during the stream. But we here, man. We here. What we
Yeah,
talking about?
a lot of storms. So I didn't acknowledge this the other day, but definitely want to say that our thoughts and prayers with the people of Mississippi devastated by the tornadoes that ran through that state. And then Southern Alabama, a lot of storms going on there. I don't think that we've seen quite the level of devastation that Mississippi did. However, definitely, if you're in that area right now listening, hopefully you're in a safe place. I know we got some people that watch the show that are down in the Auburn, Montgomery area. So hopefully you guys are in a safe place. And if you couldn't listen to this live, maybe you listen to this on the restream or whatever like that. Anyway, yeah, man. So talking this morning about the defensive backfield, I was just kind of going through some names here. Do you have any thoughts? So you have actually been at practice. I know, again, you and Mike have been concentrated a little bit more on the quarterback and wide receiver position, but have you had an opportunity to observe anything happening with the DBs out there?
Have not, did not. Mostly because they weren't going up against wide receivers. If they were doing drills against wide receivers, that would have been something we wanted to see, but they didn't put that as available in the media viewing. So we just focused on the wide receivers catching passes from the QBs. But I don't have a beat on what that room is going to look like, other than I know DJ James is starting at one. I already heard you talk about him and give him his due props because, I mean, he's shut down. He's locked down and have one side of the field taken care of already. That's fantastic. I still have to wonder. I heard from the scrimmage, K and Lee showed well in the scrimmage. There's only one other spot up for grabs this year. One. We got like 5 corners who could start at the other side, but we've only got one spot. Austin Osbury didn't even really get on the field last year. We know Keontae Scott can play corner, the opposite side. Yeah. We know that Nehemiah Pritchett, I heard you talk about him. He's coming in with a lot of experience. I was surprised to see him return because of how much we brought in and brought back. I thought that, maybe they would squeeze him out and he would lose some playing time and maybe he wouldn't like that. I don't know that that's a fact. I just know that we got more talented in the room. Do you is he guaranteed playing time? I don't know. I don't know anybody's guaranteed playing time, but I know DJ James warrants a start pretty much without competition. I won't say without competition because he's going to get out there and compete. He's going to show why he should be starting. But I don't know, man. That other side, I have no idea how that's going to work out over there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of guys. Now, let's just continue to run down the list of cornerbacks that are in that room. So, JD Rim, a guy who is a sophomore who showed well in his opportunities last season. And when we get into this portion of the list, you're going to get to guys who I wonder how much patience they're going to have, right? Like JD's a talented guy. We already talked about K and Lee being the true freshman that's going to be stellar and out there warranting some attention. So is a guy like JD Rim going to say to himself, man, they got a true freshman coming in that could possibly take snaps. We know DJ, unless he gets hurt, is going to be out there taking a bunch of snaps. Nehemiah Pritchett is going to be out there taking a bunch of snaps. Are there snaps available for me? Are they going to be rotating DBs? Because that's something that, some of the top defenses are doing right now. They're not just sticking with, these are my guys, because at the pace that we're playing in college football right now, at the amount of throwing the ball that happens right now, it's good to have rotation in your defensive backfield along with your defensive front, right? Yeah. So are we going to be rotating guys in and out with the DBs as well? And are we going to have an opportunity for a guy like JD to get some snaps this season who showed well in his time? And I think this system that fits him a little bit better this year.
Okay.
Don't know. And then Tony Hundley Jr. did not get a lot of playing time, not really big heralded guy. I think I don't even know if he's on scholarship. I think he's a walk-on. And then you've got Jalen Simpson, right, who is a guy who could, like Keontae Scott, potentially move in and play some nickel, some star, because he tackles really well. He's probably one of the better open field tacklers in this defensive backfield. Played a little safety for us last year. Did like what he did at safety. Not sure how much safety he's playing right now during the fall, or if he's playing safety at all. But I did like the potential of him at safety. You got Rod Elston, who, again, I think is a walk-on. And that pretty much is your outside room, your corners. So, I mean, if Jalen Simpson is playing cornerback, and then I just really don't know, again, where snaps for a guy like JD Rim is going to come from.
Yeah.
So hopefully he has some patience and realizes his time is coming. What you got?
How many cornerbacks did we actually sign in this signing class?
I think that K.N. Lee was the only corner that was in this class.
Okay.
No, wait a minute. There might be some more coming. Let me see. Now you're making me try to remember stuff. Let me go and pull up.
The only reason I asked is because I remember thinking again after we got K.N. Lee and we snatched him away. So I'm wondering, were there any additional?
Yeah, there probably were, and I'm just not thinking about them right now because they're guys that are not on the roster right now. They'll be coming in the fall. But let's see. Stop making me look up stuff, man.
I'm sorry. Well, the room will be competitive. We knew that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it makes me also wonder. That's right. That's what D-Max letting us. That's right. We flipped Roger Hood's son.
Colton Hood. I remember. But he's going to be more of a safety. State. I don't think that he's going to be a defensive back. Well, he is. I mean, he's a defensive back, but I don't think he's going to be a cornerback.
He's not a corner. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to be more of a safety kind of. I mean, same thing with the kid that we flipped from Tennessee.
Terrence Lowe.
Yeah, I think he's going to be more of a safety / linebacker guy. So. And we haven't even, again, I just ran down cornerbacks. I hadn't even gotten to the safeties, right? Like, so the other defensive backs that are out there. So just take a look at some of that room as I pull that up here. So we've got Donovan Kaufman, of course, who was hurt for a portion of last year, is definitely going to be out there competing. Austin Osbury, another guy where I'm like, hey, he's a redshirt freshman, didn't see much of the field at all last year.
Right.
How patient is he going to be? Zion Puckett, you know, a guy who has been up and down in his Auburn career as far as health is concerned and as far as play on the field.
Hmm.
Marquise Gilbert, a guy who we thought was going to come in and compete immediately for safety,
Right.
didn't play a lot except for on special teams. Caden Bridges,
That's right.
another stellar guy
Safety.
out there who got some snaps last year, showed well in some of the time he was out there. Caleb Wooden, he
That's
was a
right.
star last year from the spring, and by all accounts is a ball player. He's going into his sophomore year. Craig McDonald, the
That's
transfer
right,
that came in from Iowa State,
man.
and then we got Paul Thompson Jr., who's a walk-on. Mac McClinton. I don't mean to say these guys' names like they're nobody, but Mac McClinton, another walk-on guy. But a lot of talent in those rooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just don't know where the snaps are going to come from. Like, you're going to have to be rotating guys in and out if you're going to get all of these guys time. It's going to be super interesting to see what is going to be happening with this defensive backfield and how patient some of these guys are going to be, because as we already stated, you got guys like Colton Hood who are going to be coming in and filling out that room even more.
Yeah.
Who's going to remain after the end of the spring?
Listen, if Zach Etheridge can keep this room together, this is the greatest recruiter of all time.
Yeah.
Like, there's quarterback, sure. Yeah, you guys are gonna bolt because there's only one guy who can play the position. If you can find a way to play and rotate these guys in a way that both maximizes their play on the field as a unit and keeps them happy enough to stick around, greatest recruiter of all time. And because recruiting is not, especially in this day and age, it's not just, hey, I can get you here. It's, can I keep you here? I have to keep these guys happy or they're going to bolt. If you recruit 3 5-stars at one position in 1 year, but 2 of them leave within 2 years and never see the field, how good of a recruit are you? You got to keep the guys here for that recruitment statistic to matter. And if he can pull this off, some, I mean, losing 1 or 2 is not a big deal because just numbers wise, it's almost impossible to see a guy, especially the young guys that we have. We're talking redshirt freshmen and freshmen here that are our highest rated recruits.
Well, the opposite side of that, though, like if you're a senior, right, and you don't have very much eligibility left, there's no reason for you to stay, right? Like if you're a younger guy, you could possibly wait it out. If you're an older guy and you're not looking like you're going to be in the 2 deep coming out of spring, you need to be going to find somewhere where you could play immediately.
You do, but I guess for our situation is we seem to be upgrading our talent in these rooms with the more recent additions. So if you're getting pushed out, like if you think of your Zion Puckett, you've been uneven play on the field and some injury history. Do you bolt now? Because you're not going to get a better situation than Auburn at this point, at least not with the tape that he has now, with how he's played to this point.
So here's the thing. I don't know what the defensive backfield situations are around other Power 5 schools, right? Like it might not be an SEC school that has, or a higher caliber SEC school, because if you go up from here, you got to go to LSU, who they've been having DBs that are forever that have been great. You got to go to Bama,
Arkansas.
Arkansas is probably a place where you could go.
Travis is over there. He was here when Zion Puckett was here.
Yeah.
When he was first here, it's okay. So there's some ways I can see how that happened, because they've been
Arkansas will have good defenses. Kentucky will have good defenses. I don't know what the defensive. Florida's going to have some good DBs there, so probably not there. South Carolina could be a place that's, up and coming that you could slide into. So there are some places where you could land if you decided to leave Auburn, if you wanted to stay in the SEC. And again, I don't know what the outlook of like the defensive backfield is in some of these other Power 5 schools, right? So it's a possibility. But, a big part of your recruiting job in the era of the transfer portal / NIL is recruiting your guys to stay in-house. You get them there on campus. You have to figure out a way for them to stay in-house. So he's got a lot of work left to do. Like your recruiting job never stops. We don't ever stop our recruiting job. We want to recruit you guys to head over to the Rogue Shop.
Okay.
RogueShop.com is the place where listen, man, I am a professional. Anyway, the rogueshop.com is a place where you guys can go and get all of your herbal supplement needs taken care of. Rogue Shop is America's #1 online dispensary. Head over there, use code rapport. That lets them know that you guys at the War Rapport sent you. You guys make sure you do that. And you know what? Go on to your social media and tag us when you get your purchase in, and let us know that you're out there shopping with the Rogue Shop, because we want to know how it went. We want to get some testimonials from you guys of how it's going. So definitely do that. Also, our recruiting job is to get you guys to sign up for memberships. Make sure that you sign up for a member of the War Report. We appreciate those of you in the community who have gifted memberships. You can do that right now from the live chat and let someone else experience 1 free month of the War Report on you. YouTube will randomly assign those to people who have been a part of the family, but maybe not taken that leap yet. So you guys can do a recruiting job for us as well. Take them on a recruiting visit. This is your way to take other people in the War Report community on a recruiting visit to the membership area. Buy them 1 month free. Anyway, we're going to get over here into the comment section, and we're going to hear what you all are talking about this morning. Right here on the Morning Drop, you got Ike Jones, B. Will in here talking a little Auburn secondary play. We'll start the conversation off from the chat with Dana Jones. He says, sounds like Scott may be doing a lot of blitzing. Talk about major disruption. Listen, Keontae Scott is a very good blitzer. When he was doing the blitz job, he does a really good. One of the things that I like about Keontae Scott, which I say a lot of great things about, but one of the things I like about him is he's a very smart player. He's heady when he's out there, and he is always trying to make plays happen without, I think, doing too much. You saw him even like in the punt return game, right? Like he was just always pressing to try to make something happen, but he very seldomly just made big mistakes while doing that. So like his propensity to make big plays, I think, is going to pay big dividends this year as he's more comfortable with the system, because again, he'll have more time to work in it. I'm looking forward to seeing what Keontae Scott's got to offer this season. What are your thoughts there?
I'm hoping they have some room on the field for him. Is what I hope. I think he has the skills, and he's definitely going to be on the field, but I want to see him shine, because I think he probably will lose some of those return responsibilities.
Oh yeah. I don't think he's going to be in the return game very much at all this season.
Right. So it'll just be about him being back there in the secondary. I liked him back there. He wasn't quite as locked down as DJ James was, but I thought he still played very well. I can definitely see him in some nickel situations for sure. And they probably have to go to 6 a couple times with some of the offenses that we'll face. My guess is that he will be one of the mainstays on the field, even if he doesn't occupy a single spot permanently. So if he's not the opposite corner, I still think he'll be out there in nickel situations. Donovan Kaufman as well. He's pretty much going to be able to rotate between corner and safety, because he's a versatile defensive back. I like those two guys, both of them, really, as they're going to stay, and it might not be in one spot, but those guys will be on the field. So, and that's more about the headiness that you said, the maturity and the intelligence he has as a player. I want to see him out there. He's electric, man. He's electric. I can imagine Keontae Scott on some returns just going crazy, or some interception returns just going crazy.
Yeah, I am looking forward to him getting, like, he got the 1 pick last year off of the tipped pass and all that kind of thing. I'm looking forward to him getting one of those. He just steps in front of one and then takes one, to the house, or makes the return super interesting. Because again, he's that kind of guy who he wants to make a play. He doesn't just want to go out there, and he wants to make something happen. If you listen to the interview that we did with him, he wants to do whatever he can to turn every play into a big play. So I'm looking forward to seeing him do that out there on the field. Haley out there delivering threats to people, and I am not against this threatening behavior. If you thumbs down the video, I'll find you if you thumbs down the video. Speaking of earlier when I said that if you weren't happy with what I was doing solo, you can hit the thumbs down button. Haley is not here for it. She's like, hey, don't do it. She'll come find you. I don't know what her, skill is as far as being able to like backtrace people who've done things on the internet, but I don't want to test it because she put it out there definitively that she was going to do it. Valencia Jackson jumps in and said, saw Robbie doing an I Hang TV commercial. Robbie out there with the NIL situations popping off.
Get your bread, man. Get your bread.
I'm not mad at that. Young Robbie doing his thing. Definitely happy to see the players out there getting an opportunity to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness.
For sure.
Joshua Jordan, this is one. This he says, "Hey Ike," but that's before you came out here because this is not a question for me. It's a question for B. Will. Is the Amen corner out?
Let me tell y'all something. This is the best SEC football podcast of the last 16 years. And it will be available this morning. It's actually finished exporting now. I had to come in here and kind of double check some stuff because I fell asleep last night finishing it up. So if you whether you're on Eastern time or Central time before lunchtime, it will be up and available. So be checking forward.
Yeah. So Amen Corner, for those of you who don't know, is part of the Auburn Express family of podcasts. So it is myself, Paul Meharry, who is a contributor on UGA Sports, and our guy Kenny B, who has a thing called Toe to Toe Sports, who is a Florida guy. So it's us just talking about the landscape of SEC sports, and it was a good episode again, man. It's always good laughs, and us. It usually ends up being us making fun of Kenny. I'm not gonna lie to you. We make fun of Kenny a lot on the pod. Just
hey
because
man, he finds a way to be optimistic about Florida in a way that I don't think is normal. Like Ike is the super realist, so he's like, yeah, Auburn, it hadn't been great, so we hoping it's gonna be better. Florida, Kenny be like, I don't know, man. Florida, we might be one piece away. Y'all got Graham Mertz. Anyway, I'm giving away the good
he's
stuff.
Definitely trying to sell Graham Mertz as the stabilizing piece for a potential Florida run this year, and that's always funny for me.
I'd be depressed if Graham Mertz was our quarterback. Oh my God.
Yeah. So
anyway,
we'll see what they do here. All right, so let's see what we got here. The Reconciled says Zach is the man. Speaking of Zach Etheridge, the fact that he turned out NFL talent in itself will keep players staying put at AU. Then you add the constant consistency.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, listen, Zach Etheridge definitely has. If you look at the resume of guys that he's been able to get into Auburn and then subsequently put into the league, he was a good DB coach when he was at Houston. I think Zach Etheridge is putting himself in prime position to do some big things. We talked about Cadillac yesterday. If you guys watched the weekend tailgate, on how Auburn needs to find a way to make sure they keep Cadillac retained here. Zach Etheridge is another guy where you got to figure out, how do you keep him happy? Because he's already been getting the calls. How much longer is he going to be able to ignore the phone?
Yeah, it's not going to be too much longer. What I hope is that within the first 2 years, we make some serious noise, which I think is completely possible. We might be, the way things are shaping up, just a quarterback away. And even though this year's schedule is friendlier, I don't think we'll be ready this year. Next year's schedule is a little more daunting because of our road games. But if we are settled at quarterback next year, but we got to play our two hardest opponents on the road, maybe we don't have the schedule to get through. But that's a 12-team playoff year in 24. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to get through unscathed. We just have to get through and have just as many big wins as we do losses. And we have a chance to make it into a 12-team playoff and make some serious noise. Neutral fields may play a factor there more than having to go see some tough opponents. So I think we can do some big winning in year 2. I think that's possible. Year 3 would be like, okay, we should be completely set, but I don't think I have doubts about keeping Zach Etheridge through a third year under Hugh Freeze. And it's not because of anything that's going on here. It's because if you recruit at this level, you keep your players happy, and your position group is productive, you're not gonna be here long without getting some job offers, man. Even if it's a group of 5, or if it's a smaller Power 5, he's gonna get the nod. They're gonna look at what he's been doing there, and it will not be long. So let's hope that we can make the most and do some big winning, as he's been stocking the cupboards for us. So when these players come here, I don't think they're just gonna file out the door to follow Zach Etheridge wherever he goes. They're gonna stay here because this will likely be the bigger program with more going for it at that time. But man, I really hope we capitalize while he's here. I want that for him and Cadillac. As guys who have played here, I want them to be a part of bringing another SEC championship, a playoff berth, a national championship back to the Plains. I think that'll be huge. I want to see them do that before they start going on in their careers.
Yeah, I mean, so I think it's going to be interesting, to your point about whether or not he's going to, again, they're going to get the phone calls. But I think a big part of that is going to be how this experiment goes this year with the split DB room. right? Like the cornerback safety split of coaching responsibilities may be a huge factor as to whether or not Zach Etheridge stays put. Because I just don't. I mean, it's not something that you see happen often at this
Right.
level.
Right.
So is he going to say to himself, okay, this was cool, and I appreciate them, trying to accommodate and make something happen for me to keep me on here, but I have an entire room to myself, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, and with that, are they going to have to make a choice between him and McGriff?
I don't. The only reason I don't think so is there may be sometimes you find a position for guys just to get them on staff so they can do other things they're good at, like recruit.
Hmm.
And if you compensate those guys by how they recruit, like I know for sure at some point when Rodney Gardner was here, he had some bonus structure set up for how well the talent rating of the class that he signed, the guys that he
Hmm.
recruited. I gotta think that Zach Etheridge's value is almost equal in as far as on-field coaching or as position group coaching as it is recruiting. So if you take a little bit off of his play coaching wise, it may be to his benefit, and maybe he likes the idea of, okay, now I can get after these high school guys more. I mean, I don't know that taking the room from him, I guess, and splitting that room in half is a negative, because he gets to do more of something else that he's very, very, very good at, because he's not just recruiting DBs. Just like we talked about Caddy yesterday, it's not just DBs; it's the couple defensive ends and big time players that we were after. So hopefully, whatever that package is, whatever that combination of responsibilities is, he's happy with it, and it's not something that caused any strife between him and Westbrook Grill.
For sure. We will see. We will see as how this year plays out with that. Haley says, no cap, be Will. Amen corner is great.
It's fantastic.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
Joshua Jordan says, Kenny is a 5-star athlete. I will make sure to clip this portion of this video and send this directly to Kenny. For those of you who don't listen to the Amen Corner, Kenny is playing amateur football right now in a league in Texas for guys who just still want to relive their high school glory days. Or I don't know. I have no idea why you would want to play full contact, all padded up football in like your 30s.
Man, your
And
body
not
ain't
be
built
getting
like that
paid.
no more, man. Oh my
Like,
goodness.
you really gotta love football to
Really?
not be getting paid to go out there and play in full pads with a bunch of other dudes who, like, you really gotta like football, bro.
Mm.
Like flag football, all right, cool. But you just really want to hit that bad in your 30s? Nah, fam. Good on that. But
Yeah.
hey, Kenny out there knocking heads. Do what you do, my guy. Big Gap says that Florida may try to sneak Malzahn back into the SEC. Are you predicting the downfall of Coach Napier already?
Yeah. Is that what's going on? At this point, I don't think Gus has made himself too attractive at UCF. He's gone down there to do the same 8-4, 9-3 show. So I don't. I mean, is there an advantage? Is Gus an attractive head coaching candidate right now anymore? I wouldn't think so, but we've had our Gus experience, so
Yeah. I mean, people would argue we should have never fired him. And in the wake of what happened in the last 2 seasons, I don't know. I think people would have taken a good old 8-4 Gus season over what we had the last couple of years. So
that's true. People would try to make it be like Brian Harsin being the wrong choice means Gus Malzahn was still the right choice. And I still don't agree with that either.
I do not agree either.
Yeah.
It was time. So
Yeah, it was time.
anyway, we are well documented in our thoughts on that. Don't be in here in the comment section talking about you guys talking about Gus again. I didn't. It was a comment. I wasn't gonna bring him up.
But I'm not mad you brought it up again.
Philip Coleman says we'll see next year with him being in the Big 12. This is actually, I mean, so maybe, right? Because I don't know if you can recruit Big 12 talent to UCF to be able to compete in year 1, but maybe year 2 or 3 of you being in the conference, we'll see whether or not him being back in one of the Power 5 conferences with Power 5 cachet attached to his name, not one of the premier destinations in that. Premier. Let's talk about the Big 12 for like half a second since we're here. Who are going to be the premier teams in the Big 12?
Well, TCU's got a chance to stretch out this bit of fame from, being the worst beaten team in bowl history by Georgia but still, they're gonna be the top of the totem pole for the Big 12. You'd have to think some
Yeah.
continuity. The same coaches there, even though they did lose. Ooh, they lost their OC to like Clemson.
Hmm.
Ooh, you get to the top of the mountain,
They lost their OC and their quarterback.
then they pick your bones dry. Golly, man. Yeah, we'll see if Sonny Dykes can put something back on. So Texas is gone. So who they got? OK State, who's a
Hmm.
decent program, decent, right? TCU,
Kansas
Iowa
State,
State,
maybe.
K State, Iowa State. Who else?
Kansas was good last year, but I don't know if how much
Kansas
of a
was
flash in the
decent.
pan that was.
Kansas was decent. I think their head coach is building something there. But it's a bunch of the best program is like good or okay. Like that's it. So I think the top has been reset there. So
Hmm.
could UCF go in there? I don't know, man. If you can't win the AAC, I don't know. I really don't know. If you can't win the
That's kind of
American,
my point. It's not as
yeah,
if they were dominating the conference they were in,
right.
and then you're going to move to a Power Five conference. But are you even in like a strong Power Five conference? So if you were in a pretty strong AAC, but not dominant there, and you're going to move to a kind of weak Power Five conference, I don't know how you go dominate there.
Yeah, I think it's probably a lateral move. Except every team that that's going to be in you had some gimmies on the schedule at UCF. All right, it's like Temple was terrible, and well, there's quite a few teams that were terrible there. But you also had really good teams like Tulane, and ended up beating SC in the bowl game. Cincinnati, who was good, not great after the fall off. There were a couple of good teams there, but there were only like 2 or 3.
Right.
UCF was a top 4 team there. They go to the Big 12, even as they're presently constructed. With what I saw from K-State, with what I saw from TCU, with what I saw from OK State, I think they're probably like the 6th best team in that conference. But so if Gus can show something, yes, yes, he can show it's possible. You go there and claw your way into a top 2 finish or into the championship game for the conference. Yes, I think that's an accomplishment on his behalf. Whether he can do it or not, I'm not so sure.
Yeah. James Barnett says Lack and Zach want to be at Auburn. I think it's not always money related or a different position. I don't know that it's always money related either. I do think that a lot of it has to do with career trajectory, though, right? Like
Right.
wanting to be at Auburn is one thing, but you want to be at Auburn. So I'll use T. Will as an example. T. Will didn't want to leave Auburn,
Right.
but T. Will also wanted to be a defensive coordinator,
Right.
right? And Auburn was not willing to hire him as a DC, so he went and found a place that would give him a DC job because T. Will, in his allegiance to Auburn, also that didn't supersede his desire to want to have a bigger role.
Right.
And so sometimes it's a combination of a lot of things. And so
Right.
my worry in those instances, because Caddy a year ago, I'd have told you he's not going anywhere. Caddy
Mhm.
post interim head coach status, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what his desires have changed to, because sometimes
Yeah.
when you experience something new, you're like, oh, this is nice. I could see,
Yeah.
I could get used to this. And
Yeah.
then that becomes the thing that you go and you pursue. Your career aspirations sometimes will supersede your love for a place.
Mhm. And there's no situation where either one of those guys couldn't go out, test the waters, try something, and decide, you know what, that's cool. I'm gonna go back. I'm sorry, whoever we got in that running back position when Caddy leaves. If Cadillac goes out and is a head coach and he tries it and let's say it goes well for a little bit, but it's like, man, this wasn't what I wanted it to be. It didn't feel like home. You don't think he's coming back? Man, they demoting or firing whoever that is in that spot. Sorry, man, Caddy's coming back. He will always have a home here.
Yeah.
So there would be no harm in him going to try some stuff out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting though. Like again, I'm not hoping for this scenario. I'm just saying that it's a potential that's looming out there, because I do understand that these men want to be able to continue their career trajectory in the direction that it deserves to go in, right? Like they don't want to be position room coaches for the rest of their career, no matter, even if it's at Auburn. They would like to have more responsibility and be able to do more things. I know this for a fact now, that both of them have bigger aspirations for their careers. And so they want to continue to get the responsibilities on their plate so they can garner themselves the opportunity to move forward. So looking forward to seeing what those guys do in their future. That's it, man. We're gonna get out of here. We appreciate you guys for stopping in with us. The future of the War Rapport is bright, but it's only bright for those of you who continue to support us. It's only bright for us if you all continue to support us.
I know
That
what you
means
meant.
our sponsors getting support right here. TheRogueShop.com is where you can go. You can show support by supporting our sponsors. Code Rapport is what you can use, get % off your order. You can also support us by becoming members of the War Rapport. $5.99 get you to that patron level. A lot of film breakdown happening over there, and some more great stuff that we've got planned for the summer. So you guys make sure you lock in with us there. You can gift a membership if you are already a member right now from the live chat. But that's it, man. We are out of here. We will see you all. As a reminder, the Amen Corner podcast is going to be dropping today on the Auburn Express. So make sure you guys are ready for that drop coming on later today. But we're out of here until next time. And as always, War Eagle, peace.
Peace.